Hi, I'm Nan Simonsen. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, and I have a group in the background that are that gather with me every Tuesday in the afternoon, and we talk about, well, PowerPoints, points of interest as it relates to lifestyle as medicine. And during that time, usually most of the time, I will have a subject that I'm going to cover, and that gets on my YouTube show, and then we go back to speaking in a group uh, um, with anonymity. And today I'm going to be talking about accountability. I'm 74. I have a very strong goal and mission to pass on the information that I wrote about in my book when I wrote it began at 6 months before turning 70, a celebration to myself. January birthday, December publication, a few weeks before my birthday, celebrating the fact that I am 70 and I'm going on another one, two, or three healthy, joyous, vibrant decades. And it's been almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in January, well, December, since putting that together. And it's working out that way. I feel like I'm aging backwards in a number of ways. And so I'm always looking for something that will keep that pattern going because it's natural as we get older for us to get weaker. It's just natural. A sarcopenia, osteoporosis, digestive situations. We don't digest things as well as we would have. Our enzymes don't work as strong as they would have, but we can mitigate that with just more attention to lifestyle. And in my case, when I transitioned to lifestyle as medicine, became a health coach with a lifestyle clinic in January of 2018, and became plant-based in the fall of, sorry, January 19th, I began with the clinic, and in the fall of January of 2018, I went plant-based with my husband. Um, not quite 100%, and within 3, 4 months we were. Um, so the things I learned are in the book. The things I believe are what I talk about all the time. And so I wanted to bring to you something else that I am um, going to try. All right. And it entails accountability, and it is not something I'm trying to sell anyone on. It's something that I thought I would report on in the so here we go. And I wrote notes. I read from my notes. As you know, I'm passionate about lifestyle as medicine. I'm passionate about living and aging powerfully and showing what's possible in our 70s and beyond. And my mission is to stay strong, vibrant, resilient, and to inspire others to do the same thing. Lately, I've been thinking more about bone health. I have a number of friends, and I've heard a number of people in our group talk about DEXA scans that came back showing um, bits of sarcopenia and a weakening of their bones. And one of them, who is quite a athletic person, it has been told that she may want to consider Fosamax, but there are reasons not to get into the medication arena, and that's another story. Um, but I've been looking at how I can fortify my bones, protect myself from osteoporosis, maintain strength as I age, and also want to visually demonstrate what's possible as we age. To walk into my 75th year, which I'll do in less than 6 months. So I'm on the other side of that half year mark, looking strong, feeling strong, and living fully. Even though I teach, I'm human, even though this is part of what I teach, and that is accountability, doing what you say. Um, saying what you intend to do. I benefit from accountability and realized that recently uh, from another program, and I'll mention that in a bit. Um, so when we have structure, when we have a plan, when I have structure, I tend to produce my best with obstacles feeling less daunting. And that may have to do with the accountability. That may also have to do with group support, that kind of synergy. And that's why I recently signed up for a program at not the urging, she didn't urge me at all, but a friend of mine who, well, I'll mention her later as well, just did a feat of, I'm going to call it physical strength, that I realized I couldn't do. And yet she just had a DEXA scan and she knows, and she was told by her doctor, yes, you're strong. Yes, you can uh, bike across the United States. She's about to leave and go from, well, she leaves on Friday. I'm speaking of Janet Aspa, or Anspaugh, sorry, Anspaugh Ricky. She's about the plant-powered peddler who is about to go on Friday on her bike with a group from Seattle, Western Seattle, all the way over to Spokane, and they'll be cycling until the 25th or so of July. This is the first. And then she will take another 10-day tour up around the mountains of northeastern Washington. This is Washington State, USA. And her doctor said, you're doing all of these things that only a healthy, strong person can do, but the thing that you need to prioritize is resistance training. And I heard that and I thought, I know that's my case. So I decided to join what she is doing, and uh, it's a 6 week program called um, well, let me give you the name of the program, the 6 week shred by Gravity Transformation. That's the company that she's working with. So I looked it up. It's gravity, the word gravity, gravitytransformation.com. And I before I went on their website, I looked up everything I could about them. And the bottom line is their key features are that they offer a workout plan that caught that, well, I'll read that part. Mostly strength training with progressive overload, often mixed with cardio hit. Accountability is included and and is offered through regular check-ins, photo updates, tracking, and communication with coaches. There is a meal plan typically designed around high protein, moderate carbs, and low fat, but it's flexible enough to adopt. And I told them I was plant-based, which they responded to me and said, that's going to be a good plan. And yes, of course, we can work with you. Their business model is that there is a refundable deposit, um, and it's what some would call a behavioral tool. Even though they say it's free, everyone starts with a $200 deposit that they can get back if they do what they commit to do in the program. So it's not really what you would call truly free, but it is a functional behavioral contract. And when I decided that I was interested, the first thing I did was I signed up for an orientation. It was a Zoom meeting, a bunch of other people on. It was only 30 minutes, no conversation, no questions and answers, just a gentleman telling us what the program was. And I'll explain a little bit more about that. And then when I decided, okay, I want to do this, here's my $200 deposit. The next thing I knew, I got a invitation to book a blueprint call. And I'll read you the email they sent me and keep something in mind. They're talking about weight loss. That's not what I'm going for, and I'll mention that later as well. At Gravity, our goal isn't just to help you lose weight. If you're taking part in this program and you want to lose weight and keep it off for good, we also, wait, I read that wrong. You want, if you are taking part in this program, you want to lose weight and keep it off for good. But that's not me. For this reason, we take the necessary first step, and you will take the necessary first step and go over exactly, we will do that with you and go over exactly what you need to do step by step so that you never gain the weight back and yo-yo diet again. So, in other words, they're looking for longevity in this. We will go over your history and long-term ultimate goals. Most importantly, what you need to do in order to retain that kind of or that fat loss result and to reach your long-term goals and to make sure you choose a time, or so you should make sure you choose a time where you have 60 minutes to meet with a coach. And that's called a blueprint call. So I have an appointment tomorrow morning, 9 in the morning, with coach for 1 hour, and her name is Briella. And she will know going in that I am 74 and my statistics and what I'm looking for, which is bone strength, muscle building, that I am not looking to lose weight, but to build long-term habits that will allow me to keep this going. So, am I trying to promote something to you? No, because this isn't a promotion. It's not an endorsement. I don't know. I just joined, so I haven't even had the experience yet. Janet, my friend Janet Anspath Ricky, has had her first workout, and she had already had the coach call, and she's very enthusiastic about it. Um, but again, not an endorsement. I'm simply sharing my personal experience and my decision as a part of my commitment to living powerfully and transparently. The program is designed to help people commit with regular strength training, structural meal planning, and accountability. And they advertise it as free, but it does require that $200 deposit that I was talking about, which is refunded if we complete their program as agreed. What appealed to me was the accountability because I saw in another program what a difference that made. A number of people know that I had very, very good results working with Dr. Brooke Goldner's program, Goodbye Lupus. She has a program, Goodbye Lupus. She has a book, Goodbye Lupus, where it explains her food plan. She has a book, Goodbye Lupus, no, Goodbye Autoimmune, that highlights the food plan, but then also addresses what she came to understand would interfere with people's success. And that was what goes on in our head, our heart, in other words, our emotional life. And put a program together called Goodbye Lupus Rapid Recovery. That, and whenever we hear the term rapid recovery, it's not working the plan on our own, which we can based on all the information we have, her books, her online presence, her weekly questions and answer sessions. And I did that. I did it in September of last year. The first or second of September, I began, did it 6 weeks, got terrific results, differences in my lab work, felt wonderful. Pain I had from a meniscus tear stopped. Lots of things that I didn't even expect were the benefits. And I did that because I was determined if I was going to do it at all, to do it all the way so I wouldn't, so I'd have something to go by. In other words, if it wasn't going to work, it wasn't going to work because I didn't do it. It wasn't going to work because it, it wasn't workable. And I found that that wasn't so because I did it. However, all of that to say that in January, when she offered the Rapid Recovery Group, I joined that, and that was working with them. That's like this. but it was a lot more money than $200. It was thousands. But worth every dime because in essence, then I had a board certified psychiatrist, that's Dr. Goldner, board certified MD, that's Dr. Goldner, working with us every single day. And what I mean by that is that every day we had log sheets to fill out, and the log sheets covered how we felt, what our mood was, what our pain levels were, what we ate, when we ate it. Uh, it was, in other words, very much accountability. Plus, it was a closed private Facebook group, and the group of us got to know each other. And so there you had community, and you heard what the challenge of one person was who overcame a thing that maybe you were being challenged by. And then we had a weekly Zoom meeting that lasted hours and hours, where everybody that was on had a chance to ask a question and to get coaching, maybe a number of questions. And things got really deep and really personal there. So again, a community. I saw what that 6 week period did in terms of additional recovery, not just physically, but very much emotionally. I had been carrying, well, garbage. In the first, I don't know, 30 pages of this book, there's a memoir, and there was stuff. And I carried it, and nobody knew it until I wrote the book. Not my son, not my friends, nobody. And I thought putting it on paper would get rid of it, and I thought so. And then I realized that we tend to play out things subconsciously that then play out in our lives, have things subconsciously that play out in our lives that affect everything we do, and stand in our way of success that we think we want. And interestingly, even in a group setting like that, she was able to uh, change behavioral patterns by, well, paying attention, giving recommendations, and then following up. It was really interesting. So I know what accountability and being part of a group can be. And for $200, if I don't do the program the way they recommend, and they say, well, you didn't qualify for your $200 refund, I don't care. One therapist appointment could be $200. And this is 6 weeks of follow through with a coach, weekly accountability on paper, and I find it very well worthwhile. So I'll leave it at that. I've been doing workouts. I've been working with weights using a HasFit app and love it, but I don't have the same progressive instruction for continued growth in that I will hear with somebody actually watching and looking at a daily log of what I'm able to lift any given time, the 3 days a week that we are actually advised, 3 days or more, to be working out. So I think I've said enough about that. Um, as I said, I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm 5'2". I weigh 112 pounds. I'm actually rather lean. Um, and so that's absolutely not my goal, but my focus is strength, lean muscle, bone health, um, because strong muscles support strong bones. And to know, because again, I'm in those years where my body is just getting a little bit broken down, and yet can be strengthened again when we decide to do certain things. We decide to eat better. Look what happened with her program. I've been whole food plant-based for 7 years, and yet it took that additional pointed change of hyper nourishing food to kind of dislodge things that weren't easily healed on just a great diet. I needed a superb diet. And um, and it made a difference. And so I'm looking for something like that, and I found it, I think, relatively inexpensively. Also, I was pleased to learn that they were comfortable. They would have been comfortable with vegetarian, with vegan, with paleo, with any number of dietary preferences. Um, because my whole food plant-based way of eating lifestyle is completely non-negotiable to me. Whenever I share something like this, though, I feel a deep responsibility for transparency, both the pros and the cons. So I looked into it. And in looking into the program further, I found some important things that one should know going in. Some participants felt misled by the claim that it's free because the deposit isn't refunded or refundable unless specific conditions are met, and some felt that those requirements depended on things that maybe were somewhat out of their control, like weight loss goals, um, or other targets that didn't apply, or that don't apply to somebody like me, focused on strength, not fat loss. So I'm not sure that I'll qualify for the refund, and some people apparently didn't quite understand that. Others reported frustration with customer support, including difficulty getting help with app issues or questions about their refund. And some people felt pressured by additional programs beyond the initial 6 weeks. Um, as I said, for what I'm getting, for what they're offering, a app-based mm, three-part series on movement, on diet, as well as accountability, um, it was worth trying. So now that doesn't mean, and what I've just outlined doesn't mean that the program isn't valuable. It absolutely can be for the right person, and I felt that I was. But it's important to go in with eyes wide open and to understand that the rules or what the rules are, and to make sure that the program truly is aligned with whatever a person's goals are. So here's the real message that I came to you with today. It isn't about a specific program, it's about the power of accountability. Whether it's an online program, a personal trainer, a walking group, a friend that we can check in with, having structure and somebody holding us accountable can be transformational. I chose the program because it offers me structure, and because for me, it might be something, or for you, it might be something completely different. The key is finding something that helps you show up for yourself consistently. It's never too late to get stronger. It's never too late to build better habits. And in the case of age and health, I'll say it's never too late to support your bones, your health, and your vitality. So I'm sharing this as part of my commitment to living and aging with power. And I'll keep it up, or I'll keep an update going and invite you to share with me, if you would like to, in the comments, what path you've chosen, if you've decided that you want to do something, anything, to take you in a direction that you've thought of before, but that you may need, and you may realize now that you need some accountability for, and look for something that can walk you through it, um, whatever your own health goal is. If you found a structure, a system that keeps you consistent, let me know in the comments. Or if this inspired you to take the next step for yourself, this next step for yourself, let me know that as well. And that's all I had to say. I wanted to thank you for being here. And as always, here's to aging powerfully together. And I'll ask you to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, let people know we're around. You can share it. And please stay in touch with me and let me know that and what it is you decide for yourself. In the meantime, I will tell you that I love you, that I appreciate the interest you're taking in your own health, to pay any attention to this at all. And I'll wish you a great day by saying have a great day because I know I'm going to. Thank you and take care. Bye bye.